back in November 2019, somebody wrote on the squash subreddit about having enough squash equipment, and I jokingly said, you can never have enough. And I actually built a web page called Never Enough, where I talked about what items people could buy for their friends and family who played squash. And of course, with Christmas coming up, it seems maybe like this would be a good idea to actually make a video about it. So here we are. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is I know that everybody has to worry about money, but I would highly, highly recommend going to a local racket specialist to buy equipment. I know you can go online, and I know you can buy things very cheaply online, but there are some things that you shouldn't buy online because you should talk to the people involved. And the racket specialist shops are really, really useful part of our squash community. So I highly recommend doing that. And in fact, here is Jeff Woodcott from the Racket Shop down in Reading, showing you what a wrapped racket would look like. So if you live in Reading, go and talk to Jeff. And of course, there are plenty of other people, and I'm not going to recommend anybody. I have no commercial affiliation with Jeff. He's just somebody that I talk to quite a lot on the internet and in other ways. So yeah, that's it. Please go and see the racket specialists. They are specialists for a reason, and they will really be able to help you. So I'm going to talk about some things that you can buy. So this video is for people who want to buy for their friends. And I've got my bag here, and we're just going to take the things out and see what happens. All right, now the first thing is bags. Now you might be thinking, well, my partner already has a bag. The person I want to buy this present for already has got a bag. And it's true, maybe they got the bag that they need, but you could talk to them. They might talk about sometimes wanting a smaller bag. This bag is great for going to tournaments or for club nights where you need a lot of equipment. But if you're just going to, one game with your friend, maybe you need a smaller bag. So it's possible to get smaller bags that people need. Don't think that because the person has got one bag, they don't need another bag. It's really not true. All right, so as I said, we're just going to take things out and see what happens. All right, so clothing. Yes, absolutely. This is a perfect gift for people. You can buy the same sort of t-shirts or the shorts or skirts, although shorts and skirts might be a little bit harder if you don't know the size. Now, in the past, squash players could only use white kit, but now they can use all sorts of colours. And here's one that, is just a dark blue one. So buying t-shirts for them will be a good idea. Generally, it's a specialist material, so it's not just like a simple cotton t-shirt. It's normally quite a high-performance material, and they do make a difference when you're playing. Cotton is not really nice to play in because it just gets heavy and shows all of the sweat. So the next thing, rackets. All right, now, rackets are probably one of the things that I would recommend not buying unless there are two specific reasons. The first reason is the person is a beginner and doesn't have a racket. And again, go to see the specialist and tell them this. If they don't have a racket, they will appreciate having one of their own. Or you know exactly which racket the person plays with and knows for sure that they want to buy another one. Otherwise, I would not recommend buying any rackets. It's almost like, I don't know, buying somebody shoes. I mean, you really have to try them on. You have to know that they fit. I suppose people buy other people's shoes for Christmas, but I certainly wouldn't buy shoes for anybody as a present. So rackets are possible, but only if the person doesn't have one and would appreciate any racket. And two, if you know exactly which rackets you should be buying. All right, what's next in the bag? Well, surprisingly enough, we just talked about them. Shoes. All right, now, I just mentioned that I wouldn't be buying a person a pair of shoes, and I think that I will stick with that piece of advice, unless you know exactly which ones they want. Again, so really, don't go out and buy a pair of shoes for somebody, even if you know their size, because, well, again, perhaps you could, buy them from the shop and then just say to somebody, can they change them if they need to, if they haven't worn them? And if that's possible, then that's a great option, because we always need shoes. Shoes wear out quite a lot, especially on the toes here where you drag your feet. So squash players often go through shoes. So shoes are possible. All right, now, what's next? Grips. Now, grips. Now, I have a box of Caracal. I am not recommending Caracal. You buy the type of grip that the player needs. Now, in this case, these are over grips. They are actually, sorry, they are replacement grips. They're supposed to replace the original grip, but most people put them on top because they like it a little bit thicker. But there are something called over grips, which are much thinner and simply go over the top of the other one. These do that as well, but they're called replacement grips. So stick to the brand that your presentee, the person who's going to receive the present, buys. I bought these because I've always quite liked Caracal, and if you buy them in a box, they are significantly cheaper. Now, as you can see, I've still got like a whole box of 24 or something, so I haven't been using them very much. And they come in different colors and styles, and I always buy yellow because I really like the yellows. So squash, definitely possible, but try to stick with the same brand and the same type for sure that the person who's receiving the present is going to get. All right, balls. Balls are a good choice as well, because squash players will always need balls. Now, I've got Dunlop. Dunlop seem to be one of the best brands around. But again, if you're the person you're buying the present for, if this person plays in a league where they use, I don't know, Black Knight or Head or Prince, buy those type of balls. Playing with balls playing with the same brand of balls is important, because balls can be significantly different, and if you practice with one type of ball and then have to play with another, that's not so good. We always break balls. They break a lot. And you need to buy them. So that's like a perfect gift for somebody. Highly recommend those. All right, now, next one here is sweatbands. So got these. Often squash players go through sweatbands and headbands. Got those in my bag, but not in here. So these are like a good option. I mean, these, I don't know how much these were. These were like €3, but I bought these a long time ago. So if the person who you're buying presents for wears sweatbands and headbands, these are always a good option. They don't have to be replaced that often, but they are very, very useful. All right, now the next one. Another box of balls there. All right, goggles. Now, this is a difficult one, and it's difficult because if the person you're buying for doesn't wear goggles, they should. I'm not going to get into a big fight over it in this video, but they should be wearing goggles. Now, depending on where you live, you can buy different types of goggles. Now, for I paid €10 for these, but this was quite a few years ago, and they were a great investment. Absolutely fantastic. I say that because I've never really even been hit in the face for years, but they might save somebody's eye, and I think that, you know, somebody will always be saying, yeah, I thought about buying them, but I never really, you know, got round to it. Well, if you buy them, you've solved that problem for them. And they might not like the style or something, but it might be the catalyst for them to go and get a really suitable brand for them. Now, there are different types. There's a really nice one called the eye mask, but I wouldn't recommend buying that. Not because it's bad or anything, simply because it's quite expensive and you don't really know if somebody's going to like it. And of course, if the person you're buying the presents for actually wears glasses, then that adds some complexity to it. And in fact, the eye mask then could be the perfect option. But for something like this, these are about $15, something like that. The eye mask is about $70. It's a significant jump. And if you have enough money, go ahead. So again, it's not a criticism of the quality of the eye mask. I haven't tried it, but I hope to. But these are normally the simplest option. Right, what's next in the bag? Now, next in the bag are strings. I don't have any strings in here. Now, I think that this is one of the best presents that you can buy. And it's one of the best presents that you can buy because people always need to get rackets restrung, and they often wait until the string has broken, and they shouldn't. As a guide, the number of times you play per week, you should restring your racket per year. You play 3 times a week, restring your racket every 4 months. You play once a week, restring your racket every 6 months. So that's really the guide that people have. It's not a perfect guide because for some people who hit the ball very hard, maybe you need to do it more often. Some people who hit the ball less hard, maybe you need to do it less often. But if you go to see your racket stringer and say, look, I want to buy a restring for my partner, they will say, great idea. Okay, You pay for it. They can come in, get it restrung, and you can talk about the string and talk about the racket and, you know, all of those details. But presenting something, hopefully the shop has got like a token, and presenting somebody with a token, 1 racket string, restring, or 2 racket strings, is a really nice, I think it's a really nice gift. It shows that you've been thinking about it. So that would be my top gift. Besides balls and grips, which squash players always need, a restring will be a really nice gift. Now, I've got one more thing to show you, and all of the things we've seen so far have been squash specific. But I've got one more gift that I think every squash player should have, and that is a skipping rope. I don't know if I've got another skipping rope in here. No, I've just got this one. Now, I started off by saying that you should be buying from specialist racket shops, and for all of those things, you should be. But for something like this, you could probably... You could probably just go onto a Chinese website. I bought this on a Chinese website for about €3, and it's pretty good. It's actually started to rust. That shows you how long it's been. I bought 3 of them at the same time, so I used the other ones. Now, every squash player should have this in their bag. It's a very small piece of equipment. It's a great piece of equipment. Now, I will be talking about equipment for fitness equipment for squash players in another video, but as this video is just about presents, this will be the first present that I would recommend for purely fitness. Very cheap. You can buy very expensive ones that are supposed to be absolutely fantastic, but this one is wire, and I've never had any problems with this. Very easy to transport in your bag, and very easy to wrap and gift. So those are my Christmas ideas. Hopefully you have enough time to rush out now and buy some of those things. If you've got any suggestions for Christmas gifts that you think people should be buying for their loved ones, then let me know, and we'll put those in the comments. And that's it. And I hope that, you know, you go out and buy and receive lots of gifts if you are a Christmas person. So thanks for watching. So this is a subscription button. If and only if you think my content is useful, please consider subscribing. Well, that sounded a bit nasty, didn't it? Okay. All right, up here is a video that a list of other 5 things, and down here is a video that YouTube thinks is a good fit for you based on what you've been watching. And remember, do something every single day to improve your squash. See ya.